19. Good
Big
morning to
sports
those
fans.
online. We're just getting settled in here in person. There's like a lot of people here, about 50, I want to say, if I'm exaggerating a little bit.
Exciting.
That's okay. This is what we do. We're in sales now, so everything is exaggerated. So we're on Zoom online. Facebook cut us off, so I think some people don't mind that. I muted everybody on purpose, so don't unmute yourself. I'm gonna spotlight us soon too, so we can be fresh. Actually, you can do that. Kate. Spotlight us. That's in the, yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
Good.
unfortunately, Zoom took away our ability to live stream to third-party platforms. So Facebook, we won't be able to anymore. So that kind of sucks. But
So we will still record it on Zoom. We'll post the link to the recording on Facebook, and it's on YouTube already. So we'll also post it on YouTube. So that will come after a week, but we'll do the live link right away, right after the meeting, once the recording sort of finishes.
so if you're not on our WhatsApp group, then I would get on that probably sooner than later.
Yeah,
maybe.
we have 2 WhatsApp groups. One is so you guys can chit chat and share stagers, cleaners, listings, stuff like that. It's not for legal questions, so please come to us still directly for legal questions. I still catch those in the group, and you're going to see me say, I'll DM you or I'll contact you, because there's always more to that story than can what go in WhatsApp. And then there's another group that's just for us to send you important updates. So that's where it gives us ability to sort of highlight those important messages without chit chat in the background. So couple different groups, lots of ways for us to communicate. And people like Zoom, so some people don't have Facebook, so I think it's okay. We're just getting organized here. I think we're good. We got about 25 people on Zoom, another 30, 40 here in person. I think we're good. We're in May now. Spring is here, summer is coming. That's a good thing. How was the weekend for everybody? Who did open houses? What's the general vibe? What's happening?
Mo did an open house. Why are you smiling?
Mo and Alex
was
did
that
it
good?
together.
Oh, I didn't even see Alex behind this pole. How was yours?
Eventful. That's pretty good for a condo.
Oh,
Oh,
did we melt our laptop?
why was the stove on?
That's
my-
That's a better question.
Were we testing out the stove?
Ooh, what's your laptop look like?
Did we get it on camera? So you literally had a fire open house. So it was,
It
yeah.
was a fire open house. Yeah.
Okay, that was my next question. So they weren't with realtors, they were just random people? Okay. Did they see it on realtor.ca or did they come from the street on realtor.ca? So they had planned to come. Okay, that's
Did
good.
you back up your files? Nice.
It's all on Google Drive, right? That sucks, but that's good that you had a good open house. Hopefully the lead will pay for a new laptop.
For those people at home that didn't hear what happened,
So Mose and Alex hosted an open house downtown East Liberty. The learning was don't leave your laptop on the oven because you could accidentally turn it on and blow up your laptop.
The stove. The stove.
So oven, sorry.
Great lesson. That was learned way too late.
Anyone online, you can write in the chat now. Oh, someone asked, did it smell like apple pie?
Ooh.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
Isn't that
Oh my gosh. That's funny. Anyone else do open houses in the group? We had an open house, Whitby by Clayton and Michael. I think slower on Sunday. That was a rainy day. It looked like Saturday was a busier day. He had about 13 groups through. Some of them were agents. I think they got maybe like 1 lead each from that, which is pretty good. Any open houses that you know about or Nelson know about, or Nelson's not here actually. I think you heard.
I know Julian did one.
Oh yeah. How'd yours go? And where was it? What was it? Okay. Okay. So Markham.
Yes.
20
Okay,
minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, people are transient now.
Wow.
Yep. Good.
Napanee had 1 visitor. Sunday was quiet for an Oshawa condo. I
Okay.
think condos are quiet
They're,
right now.
they're also harder for open houses, but yeah. Any leads for yourself, Julian?
Yeah, and second day we did a much better job.
Okay, good.
That's just property stuff.
Well, we got a model for the new Fulton swag coming through.
Those sunglasses were fun. We actually sell those, by the way, now. They're 20 bucks each, so they're part of our swag store. If you'd like some Fulton branded sunglasses for your door knocking, we sell that with hoodies and a bunch of stuff as well.
I'm gonna need a new hoodie. Mine's turning gray.
Yes, we wear them a lot. Okay, do you want to start off by summarizing Chris Leader then? Or we had the Chris Leader session today at
Sure.
12.
I'll do a couple things. I'll start first on just like what training events are coming up. So this Wednesday, I don't know what the date is, the 8th. Oh, perfect. Thank you. So last week we did a session on prep planning. So we had a couple of accountants come in. Unfortunately, her internet was pretty terrible, so I know it like cut out a bit, but if you want to rewatch the recording on Prex, it actually was a really good session. If you've been either thinking about having a Prec or maybe you have one and you want to know how to leverage it. She had a really great drawing that she posted up. That was it explained it really well, actually. So I did send that out last week, but if you haven't, it's on our YouTube channel. So if you missed that session and just want to learn a little bit more about just having a Prec. This week, we're going to be doing another calling prospecting workshop. So I think a bunch of you guys came last time, right? Who came last time? Yeah, we got a bunch. So last time what we did is we kind of recycled a bunch of our online leads that we have generated over the last couple of years. I think I went as far as back as 2020. We were using some of the bold leads that we've collected over the years. This week, because we had such I wouldn't say great success, but it was a great momentum. Like I think we had about 5 appointments were booked, but I think like the energy in here was really nice just to see people around each other, get used to calling, get comfortable on the phone and stuff like that. And plus it's just a list of people to call. So if we're not doing anything, we're going to do that again. We're going to be using our agent locator leads. So same kind of thing. These are just people that kind of came to our ads, clicked on it. I think we've got a mix of buyers and sellers. So again, on Wednesday, we're going to be printing off the list of leads for you guys to contact, probably about 20 each or so. We'll give you guys about 45 minutes to call them, and then we'll regroup. So we're not going to do a training session like what Mo did, where he did a nice presentation for us. When you come in, I'm literally just going to give you a script, a list of leads to call, and then you're just going to go. So if you guys are interested, that's going to be at 11:30 on Wednesday.
Are you doing virtual?
I was just going to say, I had a couple of people reach out virtually. We will do it again. It just made it really difficult because we wanted everyone to be in here together to kind of do it. Like we had a lot of people like partnering and stuff like that, but then I got my shy people. So if you do want to do it online, I'm still probably going to do the whole, you got to come on camera and all that, because I don't want to just email you leads and then you go on with your day. So we want to have a little bit of accountability for it. But that's gonna be Wednesday. So if you want to do some calling of a list of people and see if you can get a contact appointment, then that'll be what we're gonna be working on.
And if you are shy, there is like private rooms. So you
Mhm.
can go into the calling room. There's extra offices. So if you feel like you want your own space, you don't have to be here out in
Yeah.
public. So that would still be better than being on Zoom, to be honest. So
Yeah.
try your best to come for that.
Perfect. Anyone have questions on that? No? Okay.
What's the purpose of the exercise? Like what?
Just to get us comfortable on the phone, and I don't know.
One of the top
And-
questions I get is like, we always tell people follow up with your clients. And the question we get is, what do I say? So this exercise is to sort of get you comfortable with what to say and try out different scripts and try different words and see what works for you. And I think that's sort of the main thing, some confidence building.
Yeah, I also like the last time we did a little bit of a test because I wanted lots of people are chasing leads right now. I'm getting so many phone calls from agents from other brokerages being like, do you give leads? Do you give leads? Yes, I've got leads, but they're not the best thing to rely your business on. So that was another part of my spiel was to prove that online leads aren't necessarily something to rely on. And I'd rather you guys be focused on your database and all that and talking to the people that you already know. But if that's not something you're comfortable with, then we'll try the online leads. And if some people are really good at it and may want to invest their own money into an online leads program as well. Or you may come to this session, call some online leads and realize I hate this. And then maybe you come up with different ways that you want to find business. So the leads are out there, but again, they're just phone numbers. They're just names. So I don't want to get too caught up on them, but it's still gonna be fun. Next week, May 15th, Realtor Quest is happening. I think it's 2 days actually,
Yeah.
15th and 16th. So I think it's a free event for you guys. So if you guys want to go, I think there's trainings throughout the day. There's trade shows. So you can go check out what technology's out there, different platforms. It's a big day to go network with a bunch
We'll
of
be there as
agents.
well.
We'll be walking around. So I think there's a Century 21 booth that will be there as well. So if you guys want to meet head office and do that kind of stuff, but that's next week. So definitely sign up for that. I'm sure you guys have gotten emails for it. We have a busy month this month. May 22nd, Cedar Media is going to be coming in. We're going to do a social media video workshop. So again, this week's online leads. In a few weeks, we're going to do some social media training videos. You're going to meet some guys that actually will film videos for you, edit videos, and create content for you. So if that's something you guys have been thinking about for your own marketing efforts, you're going to meet some guys that actually do that you can pay for their services, that they'll do it for you. Or maybe they'll teach you some things that you can do on your own as well. But we're going to do that on May 22nd. It will be here as well and online. And then at the end of the month, May 29th, we're going to do open house systems. So I know we're getting into open houses. So I'm going to teach you guys how to run a proper open house, how to actually get clients from it, how to follow up with the clients, and then maybe even talk a little bit about geo farming a little bit as well. So we're going to kind of mix in a bunch of the prospecting efforts, but we're gonna do open houses. If you're an agent that's really good at open houses, so how Mo came up and did a presentation for us, if you guys are open to wanting to do presentations as well, and you've been doing lots of open houses and have some things to share, just reach out to me because I'm happy to let you present as well, if that's something you want to do. Good, good. Okay, so now I'm going to talk a little bit about Chris Leader. Yep. They will all be at 11:30. Yeah, 11:30 on Wednesdays. All right, so we did Chris Leader this morning. So kind of like while I'm talking about prospecting and stuff, I thought it was actually a good session for those of you that couldn't tune in. So if you guys are online, every Monday at 12 o'clock, Chris Leader does a 30-minute presentation, a little bit of a mini coaching session for you guys. But today he talked about hunters and farmers. And Claire talks about farming all the time. And we're not talking about farming like going out there and growing crops of corn or anything like that. So when we mentioned farming, I don't know why the word farming came up in real estate, but we're not talking about you guys going to sell farms and hunters. I don't know, but he did have some good analogies for both of them. Hunters is basically another word for someone that likes to do prospecting. So someone that likes to do the cold calling, door knocking, all of those active prospecting activities to go out and find business. And then there's another person called the farmer, which is a person that prefers to do more of the marketing side of finding business, where they don't necessarily want to directly contact people, but they want to plant enough seeds to remind people about them that hopefully those people will contact them. I would say most of you guys would probably prefer the farming side. Would you agree? Or do I have any hunters here maybe? Got some hunters.
Question
Yeah,
here, like, hands up, I'm just curious. So
I am too.
hands up here, who considers themselves a hunter, who considers himself?
Okay,
No,
who's a
no.
hunter, which is a prospector? Okay, and then who are my farmers who prefer marketing? I saw a lot of missing hands, so what are you guys? I only had 2 options. What are the guys trying to figure it out?
Okay, one thing about hunters too, they're just not prospectors. They're just not prospecting, cold calling us on the phone. They're opportunists. Somebody says, I have a cousin that's thinking about doing something. This person's on the phone talking to the cousin. So the cousin they've got a brother. They want it. Okay, then the next thing you know, you're talking to the brother. Next thing you know, the brother's got another sister or something, and they're talking to them. And then there's listening expired. It's not just cold calling expired. It's hunting.
They hear of an
You
opportunity and they go.
see a spark and you go get it, right?
Yeah.
I know lots of agents that's how they run their business. Their business is like they wake up every day not really sure what's going to happen, but they know they're going to hunt. So they're phoning they're phoning up all the leads, all the past clients, all the people that they're talking to. That's what they do. That's hunters. What we're trying to do, of course, is get you into thinking about the farming too, which involves marketing. I've had lots of new agents come to me and they've decided that they're going to do it reverse. They're going to do marketing first. So they're gonna put themselves on a bench. They're gonna put themselves on like a bus bench or a garbage thing, and they're gonna put their face up there. They're gonna say, "Call me today," and they sit around and wait, expecting people to call. It's reverse. I mean, you have to have the You gotta hunt first and then farm. That's my thought. You just can't put a marketing piece out there, expect people to call you.
Yeah.
So it's a strategy, but you have to decide who are you? What are you, right?
Yeah, and he made a good point today, like, before you even start doing any of those things, you should be creating your sales skills more than anything. Because what happens when one of these prospects actually says, yes, I do want to buy a house, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, like, what do I do now? So there's a little bit of a mix, but he was talking about being both a hunter and a farmer. But he was saying most farmers don't like the hunting and most hunters don't like the farming. But if you can figure out a way to marry the two, then you'll have a really solid system in place. We've got a hunter right there.
Hunter and a
Actually,
farmer.
he's a hunter and a farmer, if I'm honest. He's like, what? So yeah, he was even just talking about like how most new agents, when your business is slow, then you need to put that hunter hat on where you're actually going out to find business. So if you're sitting here today and you're saying business is slow, nothing's coming to me, I'm putting out all these postcards or I'm doing all the things, but nothing's coming. We got to figure out how we can get more of a hunter hat in place. If you're an experienced agent, we got to convert you guys to farmers. So you guys have the sales and maybe you were the hunters at one point, and maybe you haven't started investing in marketing and actual systems as well. So the farmers are people that actually like to build relationships, check in with their past clients. They're building a referral network, whereas the hunters are just there for the next deal. They don't really care where it's coming from. They're getting the next deal. They don't care what happens to them after the deal. But if we can figure out how to marry the two, where you've got the hunting, you've got the clients, then how can we continue to market to those people so that they build a referral business? So it's a different cool way of saying. I've never heard the hunter versus farmer analogy, but
There's another strategy out there too, and it's something that I guess somebody coined, probably me, but anyway, it's called guerrilla farming, right?
Mhm.
The guerrilla farming is you don't plan on staying in that neighborhood a long time, but while you're there, you're going to take advantage of it. So you're going to do all the disciplines when you have a listing. So you're going to get a listing in a particular area, and you get a listing. What are you going to do? You're going to put out a just listed card, right? And then hopefully you're going to maybe door knock the area, say, hey, I just listed this thing. And next, hopefully you're going to do an open house. You can knock on there, say, I'm doing an open house this weekend. Come to my open house. You do the open house, you get there and going to again do a pre-open house, right? And then when the property sells, then you're going to again door knock the area, hey, the property sold. And you can do a just sold flyer. Then you're going to work this thing, work it. And has anybody heard has anybody seen the fact when a property comes up for sale on a street, does another property come up in the street within the next 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Does anybody know? I'm looking at, does anybody know you've priced a property and you spend all this time trying to price the property. What's the strategy? What's this? What's that? And you price the property, and the next day competition pops up with the same property, different price. You want to find those guys. There is somebody that's going to be listing their property within the next 15, 20 days. When you list your property, there will be someone else that's going to list their property within that immediate area. So the guerrilla farming is going to try to capture that person. And then hopefully if you get that one, you can do the same process again. Just listed, open houses, just sold. You can do the whole process all over again. Hopefully you can maybe pick up another one. And then if it dries up, that's okay. Hopefully you got a listing across town somewhere else. You're going to go do the same thing over there and start all over again, right?
Mhm.
So it's not long-term farming, but it is a farming type thing, try to generate more business from what's going on there. So there's lots of options.
I guess we should be doing that with every single listing. we
Every
have,
single listing
right?
should be there.
Every
There's
listing.
opportunity there.
So you got the little farm, and who knows, that might become your farm if enough people start to,
Correct.
all of a sudden you've got one listing which turned into 3 listings, and then all of a sudden all the neighbors are calling you. So it could eventually just turn into your main farm.
Yeah, and a perfect example I give is years ago, different time, but different personalities. But the fellow's retired now. But Peter Burrow, if everybody knew him, he was a big boisterous guy. He talked to everybody. You know who he is, and comes in. He did like Markham Road and McNichol area. He picked up like 5 listings in this area, and it's not even his farm area, but he picked up like 5 listings in that area over a period of about 6 months. So I know it works, right?
Mhm. Yep. Good. So his homework this week. So if you find that you are a hunter, or maybe you want to be a hunter, put aside 90 minutes a day of prospecting. And then also, if maybe you've been consistently a hunter and the business is coming in, then start thinking about the different marketing campaigns that you can do in your geo farms, like what Claire said. Or pick a brokerage listing if you need to, but start thinking of marketing if you're not doing that already, if you're only doing the prospecting side. And then on the opposite, if you're a farmer, continue doing your marketing, but now let's add 30 minutes a day of touch base calls that is actually reaching out to people as well. So those are pretty simple things, right? 90 minutes a day is not gonna kill anybody. But that was his thing. So I liked today's session.
Yeah, that's good.
That's all I got. But I'll see you guys Wednesday for some hunting activities.
Feels good. Before we go into stats, I want to introduce a new agent, Geetha. So welcome, Geetha. Welcome to the team. Thanks so much. She's got a bit of experience with her already, so she's not brand new. So welcome to the team. Claire, do you want to kick it off with stats? They were super interesting this month
They were for May.
for April. You want to go right into May? You want to go into
Yeah, I'll-
to April market watch
I
because
don't
April came out.
I don't have my April one.
This is April. Technically, the heading's wrong. I just
Oh.
printed it wrong.
Oh,
This is
okay,
April.
all right, okay, fine. So you guys tell me, so is the market hot, not hot, slow, fast, busy? What's the feel? Those guys did open houses, you said you had a few people through, but not tons? But that's Liberty Village, all right, so it's sort of different area. Did anybody do an open house anywhere, any houses out in nowhere else?
Yeah, a lot of people.
That's what I'm thinking, then,
Pickering?
so,
Yeah.
Yeah,
For freehold houses, yeah.
Yeah, I think those-
People in Pickering, 25, and three guys.
What's the
And-
price point?
was Wildflower?
1.150 and 1.2 in Ajax, and 150.
Okay.
And did you do them on Saturday or Sunday?
Both days.
Both
Like,
days,
we
'cause-
only do one day if it's busy. Then we do Sunday.
Just as Sunday, the weather wasn't as good as Saturday, Saturdays.
There's 15 people on Sunday, one of them, and 8 in the other.
Good.
We got a few offers coming from the open.
Yeah, nice.
Like if they have agent, they call me like client got to the open house.
Steve, did you sell your place at open house?
Pickering?
When you did the ice
Ice
cream
cream.
thing?
Yeah, we sold it.
Like a while back.
Sold it, have 4 offers.
So Steve sort of did something funny and Shiv's done it in the past and other people too.
Debbie
He-
just
he
did
had
one
like,
too.
Debbie did one too,
Yeah, she did
yeah.
ice cream trick.
So I think
Pickering.
somebody did this weekend. Okay, so.
Pickering loves ice cream. They're
So
gonna.
they did a little ice.
Back in the house, 3 people.
It's all right. So a little ice cream truck there. So if you're gonna do a guerrilla farming, right? You know, show up with an ice cream truck and you do things we're talking about. Hopefully you're gonna pick up another listing somewhere there. Hey, you know, my agent did this, right? Maybe not yours.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any, Debbie, did you guys have any impact with that, with the ice cream truck at all? Or?
They did pick a bad day.
That's hard.
Snowing? Okay.
Yeah, April's hard.
Great time for ice cream.
You never know.
The ice cream truck, 133 people,
That's insane.
Wow.
133 families.
So the sales for April came in pretty strong. I think the media was sort of talking about it, but there's different headlines, right? The headlines are all sort of odd. Toronto real estate market hit spring standoff. Listings up 47%. Toronto real estate inventory soars, one of the weakest months ever. Majority of aspiring homebuyers are aware that, okay, I'll get into that later on. And it's time to sell. So the market was okay, but sales themselves were actually down 5%. So we had like 7,114 for the month itself. Last year was 7,400. Last month we had March was 65. So went from 65 to 7,100 in 1 month. So that's strong. The biggest thing though was the active inventory. Active inventory went from 11,000 to 16,000. Active inventory is up 47%. And new listings, which no media talked about this, but new listings are up 74%. Now, I think there's a bit of an anomaly here, which is okay, but the public doesn't know what we know. But we believe that last month and maybe the month before that Treb misrepresented the active listings. We think they misrepresented by about 3,000 or 4,000. And I think this month they caught up, so that's okay.
Yeah, we know that's because we always
It was not
report.
Actually 47%.
Well, it still is year over year, but the thing is, it wasn't all in 1 month. So it's been sort of trending upwards. We've been catching it because we always talk about the weekly new listings. So all of us are caught up week to week to week. We don't wait for the month to catch up for the results, right? So then the April stats came out and that's kind of the number we were expecting it should be. And we were all over Treb, like something's wrong. Let's leave it to Claire and Carly to be Oliver Treb and fighting with them, right? But they seem to be caught up now.
Yeah.
So
See.
the percentage stays the same. It's the same net result year over year, but
Yeah, and the same thing, you have to look at the individual properties and the individual areas, like I was talking about, where these guys had their listing there at, what's it called? Where you guys had the festival? No. What's the name of it? No, Liberty Village, right? Liberty Village, Liberty Village, there's probably, I want to say hundreds, there's hundreds of properties available down there right now, I bet.
yeah, I heard Mo's on the phone with this client. Yeah.
Just
200
in
Liberty Village.
Ooh,
So if you have an open house, you and 200 other people too, right? So everybody's competing for that one buyer.
what's the average days? Do you know there? No, it's okay.
Average price though is still kicking along, 1.156. So everybody's telling me how the interest rates are bad. Everybody's waiting for the interest rates to go. Meanwhile, the prices are increasing,
Month over month.
right? 1.1156. Last month it was 1121. Month before was 110. Month before that was 1025. So it's going up about 75, 20, about $30,000 a month. Right? Prices are going up. So wait for the interest rates to come down, then you see what's going to happen then, right? So it's interesting. Average prices, units. The 416 condominiums, even though the units themselves were up, down 5%, condominiums were actually down 9.5. So condominiums are having a bit of a tougher time than regular homes. Detached homes are only down 1.2. Semi-detached is actually up 3.4 in the 416 area. And townhouses down 1.5. So it depends on the area and depends on what's happening, but it's not, it's not across the board with the sales themselves. I just ran some numbers yesterday. 5 days is not enough to even concern ourselves with, but we do have 19,144 active listings as of last night. The sales
144.
19,144. And the sales so far for the first 5 days, it's hard to tell, but the first 5 days sales are down like 40%. That's a nothing number because the month's just started. Yeah. So Toronto real estate market hit spring market listings up 47% while the sales sag. So you want to use these type of information for a seller that's that maybe not selling. Does anybody have any clients where the seller the price is not the property's not selling?
Anyone got a buyer in Pickering? We are desperate.
It's a nice house too. Yeah, it's nothing you're doing incorrectly. So
Nice house, but the market is, even though we're in the spring market, it's not the spring that we were.
Well, we sold it. It just fell through on finance, which I have heard from a few agents happening. Like last week, I had a few
Yeah.
people tell us.
I've heard it too in Durham.
I've spoken to other agents from other brokerages and they said the same thing.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, we're separate.
Yes.
Everyone's like,
Yeah, you're not alone.
That's not easy, right?
Yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to say that. I was like, I don't mortgage that. You want the thing, but I-
Strange, the house is sitting in the market for 2-3 weeks. Somebody bring an offer 100,000 over us.
Wow.
Yeah, that's
Can you
what we,
send them my way?
yeah.
When we sign, let me just sort of.
Yeah.
Ask, is there more room? It's a little bit.
Yeah.
And they say, give me sign back. I won't give you sign back. Bring it best offer with something.
Yeah. And that's what we're seeing in the prices. Yeah, prices are still up.
Yeah.
Going if you're on a roll. I don't know if there's a particular order.
I mean, good agent.
Mhm.
Even when you find it,
It's
Fair.
true. Yeah.
then you always need it.
So some more headlines, we'll just read headlines and like these articles all come from a different type of news article. So they're all trying to get their own story across, right? So we sort of knew this one already, but a key source of funds for some Toronto homeowners, Bank of Mom and Dad, right? So we've talked about this before, that a lot of people are getting money from mom and dad, and actually 27% are co-ownership, and this is in Toronto only, and this has gone up from 17%. So it's getting more and more that the parents are stepping in to help, but we're saying it's not a bad thing because those parents also now have some equity in that investment. So it's an investment for the whole family. So it's not just about the kids, they're helping out the kids, but they're also invested in it themselves. So nothing wrong with
Kids are
that.
like 35 plus too. These aren't like.
Yeah, when I say kids, yeah, they're not
These are
like
grown-
teenagers.
grown
These are,
adults.
these are young adults. Yeah. So roughly 3 of every 10 homes are jointly owned by a parent and child, where they're inhabited only by the child. So they're helping them out. Yeah, adult children, kids. we're technically kids too.
Yeah.
And they're also saying too that it's really population or prevalent along immigration families. So immigrants are helping out their children as well, even more so. They make up like 80% of Toronto, so they're co-owned as well. So do you guys have clients where parents are stepping in to help out?
I would say like at least 90% of our clients.
Yeah, like we have
parent
clients
help.
where, you know, not only are they helping out financially, but they're also involved in the buying process, which is really fun, right? So the parents haven't bought a house in 30 years. They don't understand the list low strategy or, you know, what we do in inspections, and they're almost too involved, but rightfully so because they're helping out. So Caitlin's dealing with the situation right now where mom is heavily involved and wants her to call her every day. And they finally got a place after 8 months of searching. And then they said, well, I think we overpaid for it.
overpaid.
Like, you know, it's firm, it's done already. I think we overpaid. Well, probably we did a little bit, but
But we got a home.
yeah. So, I mean, don't hesitate
Yeah.
to sort of connect with your clients' parents as well. If they are helping out, you might want to do a buyer's presentations for the whole family as well and get everyone involved. If the kids can't
Or
do
like
it on their own,
showings and
get them
allow
involved,
them.
right? And if you as an agent have to be adaptable to both kind of personalities, you want to please the kids, young adults, and have some fun with it. But you've also got to have your stats ready and got to be knowledgeable to be able to talk to the parents at a higher level as well.
And they're gonna be hard on you. I find the parents are very, very hard.
It's just a
They-
different
yeah.
time. They haven't done the transacting the way we do now is different. Like they don't understand the list low and what's over asking and things like that. So it's just a different sort of world.
What do you guys thoughts on the parents helping out the kids? You think that's a good thing or a bad
Great
thing,
idea.
or like depends on your parenting style, right? A lot of people want the kids to sink or swim on their own.
What was last? Yeah, sink or swim.
And another parents, you know,
How
they're.
does it affect us?
Hmm? Well, no, I think I'm curious what your own attitude is. So if somebody came to you and said, well, you know, I let my kids, you know, they can sink or swim, they gotta, you know, do it on their own, they're gonna have to fight the world themselves and blah, blah, blah. What do you say to them? Yeah, good for you, or do you say, well, I'm not sure whether that's a good idea or not?
Yeah, you may want to bring.
I think it's okay
family
to be
investment.
helped.
I think it has a lot of emotional value.
Yes.
Yeah.
So really, it doesn't matter. Even sometimes parents don't have too much money. We
Mhm.
sell a lot of homes to the kids where the money comes from parents.
A lot.
And I always tell them, if you don't help them, they'll always be on the streets. So it's your decision how you feel about it.
Mhm.
You will never be able to afford it.
So I've read things about generational wealth. Right, and what that means is that the parents are sitting on, let's say, I don't know,
Yeah.
let's say the parents are highly moral people. And they're sitting with $2 million in the bank. And their kids are renting, and they're still renting, but they want the kid to fight for themselves. Fortunately, that kid will be generational. That kid and their kids are going to be renters for life.
Yeah.
So generational wealth means that you should be helping your kids now while you can, so they can get into the game now, and they can participate in the growth of real estate.
They're gonna get the money anyway.
That's
And
yeah.
the book I read years ago, book I read years ago was called Die Broke, and the Die Broke concept was that we were all taught, at least I was taught, maybe I'm not sure you guys, I was taught that you should leave an inheritance. And a kid, and growing up with my had neighbors, oh, I can't wait to get my inheritance.
Put it in the will. I'm in the will.
I'm in the will. Meanwhile, your parents die when they're 90 years old. You're gonna be 65 years old, you're gonna get that inheritance. Meanwhile, you're still renting your place, waiting for that inheritance,
I
right?
mean, what prices are skyrocketing.
So the whole purpose of the Die Broke book is that you're gonna give the money anyways, as Shiv says. Why not give it to them when they need it? Or
And while
sorry,
you're still
when they need it.
around.
Why not give it?
One of my clients asked for the opinion. His son buying a house, $2 million, a doctor, get a new doctor, and nothing we could. It's ship, I said, listen, he's gonna get the money anyway. Why don't you give $1 million, buy $3 million?
Mhm.
And that's what he did.
Yep.
He bought a $3 million home, comfortable, opposed to buying $2 million, that's not done, that's, nobody's gonna be happy.
Yeah, exactly.
I agree.
So.
It's expensive.
kids gonna get the money anyway.
It's true.
Yeah, like if
No,
your kids.
It's a good point.
I wouldn't recommend, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
It
point.
depends on the kid, right? You're not gonna give it some little.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it depends on the kid.
Yeah,
not-
like through a
not all.
doctor, like they
But they're
deserve
gonna
something.
get money right now because of new doctor.
No,
Exactly,
But the
yeah.
last thing you want to recommend your client do is go borrow money so they can give it
No,
to the
that's
kid.
not.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
no.
That's the last thing you're gonna do,
Yeah, that affects your own retirement.
right?
Your own
So
wealth planning.
don't be borrowing money to give to your kid. That's bad.
If you already have it.
Because then the kid maybe they make the payment, maybe they won't, because it's not there, it's found money, right? It's not,
But
you
it's
know,
pressure, 'cause a lot of parents can't afford.
correct. If they can't, that's what I'm saying.
And
If
that's
they
a
can't
different
afford it,
thing.
don't afford it. I'm just talking about the people that can, okay?
Yeah.
So
Then you
Married,
get parents feel
getting
bad, they're like,
divorced.
oh, I can't help.
people get married and divorced all the time, but you know what? You gotta take your chances.
Yeah. Luck of the draw, guys.
Luck of the draw. I mean, I've had people that had prenups. I don't think even prenups works.
It's true. I mean, speaking of that, we talked about last week, the capital gains and that new potential budget rule that could come into play. And people right now are really worried about cottages because there's generational, they've been passed down. So they might have bought land at 30 grand and now the cottage is worth 2 million plus. And now these kids are going to have to inherit the capital gains of this. So there's an article that talks about claiming your cottage as a principal residence and how to navigate this. And basically they're saying unless you were going to sell this year, don't rush into selling before June 21st, which is a good point. So there are other things you can do, like changing the cottage into a primary residence, because your primary residence doesn't need to be the one that you sleep in. It could be any of the properties you own. So that's an option, but they're saying just talk to your accountant or your financial advisor. So unless you're getting ready to sell it this year anyways, then yes, like get it on the market and get it before the new rules. But if you had planned to keep it in the family and to pass it down, don't rush to sell it, keep it in the family, but work with a financial planner or a tax advisor to see what else you can do to help you. But there will be some capital gains no matter which way you cut it. So maybe you pay them now as opposed to later, or maybe you play around with it a little bit. So the method
Or
was
just don't sell it.
don't sell it. Yeah,
Just
don't
don't
rush into
sell
it.
it.
Keep it in the family, adhere to the new rules and just see what you can do to help yourself out.
Do they have to pay for changing a principal home?
Yeah, the new people, it's a deemed disposition. Now they're going to be responsible for the capital gains and the difference of when the parents or grandparents got it and the value today, which could be really substantial depending on how long it's been in the family.
Part of the deal.
That's right,
Mhm.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
right. And that's been,
Yeah.
that's right. Yeah.
Fair.
I was reading that too. Yeah. So for the couple, it kind of goes together. So like you said, so,
Cost, I said, look, it's only cost extra 7%.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Service.
Yeah. yeah.
That's right. So that's right. So if you had $1 million capital gain on a cottage, you're gonna pay about $66,000 extra tax. So it's about 7%. You're right.
Yeah.
So it's not the end of the world.
Like,
But it is the end of the world. All you have to do is go to that TV station that for $9.95 you can get guaranteed life insurance policy. Am I right?
yeah.
You know, some of the
Mhm.
$9.95 where those guys advertise guaranteed life insurance policy, doesn't matter how old you are or else. So you can get one for $70,000 and then now you're
No, they only give you $5,000.
they only give you five?
They
Okay.
don't give you 70,000.
Mhm.
No question.
That makes sense for the $9.95.
So my point is get a life insurance policy to pay for the capital gains tax when you die.
And a lot of people have that. That's why they're not so scared, right? So yeah, media likes to scare us. Another headline, majority of aspiring homeowners awaiting rate cuts before buying. Is this true? Do you guys have buyers that are telling you are waiting for the interest rates to go down? Your
For
brother,
sure.
yeah, I've seen it in other agents. Yeah, they're waiting for interest rates, but
We're not hearing it as much though as we were like last year. I don't.
yeah,
feel.
so they did a survey. The majority of Canadians aspiring to buy a home says that they will push their plans to next year or even later to wait for interest rates to drop. 72% of people said that they're waiting to do this. So that's a big majority. It's only one survey, right? But it's a big majority of people that are waiting. But the concern is once the rates drop, everybody is going to come out to play again and your prices are going to go up. So if you have buyers that are telling you they're waiting, you might want to let them know there's rumors right now that they're going to be rate cuts as early as June. Maybe Brand can talk on it a little bit, but that happens next month. There's going to be a whole slew of people getting into the market and now you're going to be competing again. You're going to be going in firm without conditions and you're going to be paying higher prices. So if you've got buyers on the fence right now I think is that sweet spot
Mhm.
to be doing your buyer's presentation, start doing some showings, getting them familiar with the process because they're most likely going to be competing later in the year if the rumors are true. And Fran, is that true? Like you sent me an article as well. I'm reading a little bit as early as June.
Yeah, I was at the Scotiabank conference.
Yeah.
She's predicting about 80% chance of rate cut.
80% chance of a rate cut.
Unless on the CPI numbers and.
It'll be a small percentage of
Probably
cut.
5%.
Yeah, like 4% or something.
Saying that
Yeah.
they will cut down earlier than they expected.
No, baby one.
that little tiny though, that little hint, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but it's like the energy of like, okay, something is happening, it's gonna work out better for us, and then everybody's gonna come out to play. And they have 19,000 listings to choose from now too. So there's gonna be inventory there to support it.
25,000 listing at that time.
That's right. Yeah.
Everybody's gonna be putting their house for sale.
Yeah, everybody's gonna come out all of a sudden. So everyone here, it's good for you guys to get prepped and ready, I hope, for a decent market, but we do need prices to come down for more people to get back into the market because it's those younger first-time home buyers that are struggling the most. But yeah, it could happen very soon. So June 5th. So are you gonna put bets on? Should we do who's gonna bet a nickel?
Let's bet a nickel.
No, Brand and I, we're almost the same, so I think they're gonna do a quarter point in June.
Quarter point in
June.
June.
Fifth.
Let's say quarter point.
All right, get your nickels
Get
out.
your nickels out, quarter point. Anyone think that they're not, that they're gonna hold it? Yeah, but still, it's like that thought of like, okay, there's some relief, you know, like people are hanging on to it.
September, October.
It's a little later.
Mm.
Okay, it could, even that will still, it's not a bad thing.
We're ready for it.
We're ready. Okay, but our condo's ready. So Toronto area condo rent, oh, this is for renting in Hamilton, but the rents in Hamilton fell 7% in 6 months, the largest decline in 15 years. Okay, yeah, but it was already up so much, so it had to do something. So again, you have to be careful with your headlines. Like they're reporting the lowest recording in 15 years of data tracking, but you know, it was up already, and now it's helping out people in Toronto or Hamilton as well. So it's gone down, which is going to help people rent a little bit more. Maybe they'll decide not to rent. I was just gonna say, so part of the Hamilton is that they've had a bunch of new builds that are all ready now, and so the rents are coming down. The problem though is that because of the shortage of developing in those areas, 5 years, there's not gonna be as much supply anymore. So now the rental rates will go up because all the developers have sort of put a hold on things, and it takes about 5 years to build something. So now you're gonna see a supply issue later on because of that, but it is helping with the rent a little bit.
So one of the reasons why they dropped.
No, go for it.
Highlighted? Yeah. There's 22,000 purpose-built rentals came to the market in the first quarter of 2024. And there's something like 12,000 new builds got completed in the first quarter. So is anybody here renters right now? Like you try and get rent, you find the rents coming down? I'm saying yes, you find the rents coming down about 7%? That's what they're suggesting here, but it's coming down a little bit? Okay.
Yeah, and those stats were just for Hamilton, but Toronto's seeing really similar stats as well. Like 29 projects alone have just been delayed and put on hold. So we didn't see a big launch for the first quarter of this year.
Do your pre-construction. I like this one here.
This one's kind of fun.
I like this one.
Which one is going to be for this one? Pretty similar.
Carly loves it.
So developers are offering special incentives to buyers as demand for new Toronto continues to plummet. So yes, we've talked about this every week, all the incentives that we're getting. You guys are all getting the emails as well. So they're scrambling to sell. They're offering reduced deposits, mortgage buy down assistance. 2022 alone, only 11,000 units and 29 projects have been delayed. So everything's being delayed. Only 4 projects were brought to the market in the first quarter of 2024. So to attract more sales, they are reducing or even giving out free parking, no development levies, reduced deposits of less than 15%, 5% or even higher commissions to you, interest on the deposit. So like we take interest on resale houses. That's what our Schedule Bs say when you do a resale listing. So now they're going to offer that as well, which they should. Mortgage assistant program. So they're doing everything they can do to sell these units because they have shareholders and they have people that they're reporting into that they need to sell, right? They don't want to reduce the prices because that devalues sort of the image of the project alone. So they're trying everything they can do to sell these things, but they're struggling for sure.
They're linked with the banks, and the banks they're losing customers. Literally, but banks, they don't reduce the interest rates. And which rates, who's holding who?
Yep, no, it's true.
If you want to get political, you could get political, I guess.
No, what I meant, like it's
No.
financially, they're linked to the banks.
Like with the Condominium Act, this it bothers me for this occupancy fees. Occupancy fees are nuts. Does anybody have any clients in that position there? I know some people have themselves or are paying big money, right, for the occupancy fees. But if I'm somebody educate me a little bit here, maybe Rand can. So if I'm a developer for, let's say, K Square down the street here. So I've gone the developer. I've sold my 80%, so I've got my financing in place. I would have done this financing probably 5, 6, I don't know, 10 years ago, whatever it would have been. So I'm probably paying maybe, I don't know, 1-2% interest rates. But during occupancy, I can't put a mortgage on that place, but the act allows me to charge the consumer interest on the remaining balance. So you put 20% down, you got to pay interest on the other 80%. But I get to choose it at 7% interest, but even though as a builder, but the money I borrow from the bank is at 2%. So I'm making $5,000-6,000 a month just by this. So if someone wants to get political, there's something wrong with that act that allows them to make that a profit center. Rather than dollar for dollar.
'Cause what's to
If-
prevent
if- If
them-
they borrowed money at 2.5%, 3%, then they should be able to, the occupancy
Yeah.
fee should be based on the same, but it's not, it's double.
Because wouldn't they just delay the construction of it to further out the occupancy period? If that was a profit center, they would just slow down their building a little bit to
Slow it down and get the rent for a little more time,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. But
Because like, 4 years ago, we used to sell it like, oh, occupancies are like market rent. It's not a big deal. Like it's similar to what the rental value nowadays. It's like 3 times as much and you really do have to plan for it.
Yeah.
People are getting a little bit shocked. So it's,
So the occupancy fee is this artificial interest on unpaid amounts
Mhm.
plus an estimated maintenance fees plus an estimated tax fees. That's what everybody's paying, so it's crazy. Anyway.
so this article is a little bit of education as well on the pre-con side. I think that's why you like it as well. It's a good summary. So basically when you buy a pre-con, your first payment is usually like a $10,000 or $15,000. They call it like a signing draft. So you buy the condo, you give them a draft right away. It's usually $10,000 or $15,000. Then you've got, if it's a condo, 10-day cooling period to take it to your lawyer and review it, but the builder's got that deposit already. If it's a freehold house, there is no cooling period, maybe, so it could be firm right away. So make sure you're thinking about that. And that law, by the way, may change as well because the cooling period is only for condos, but we may see that changing. So for 10 days, you're in a cooling period, you can go review it with a lawyer. So you've got that initial deposit, and then you're going to have a whole deposit structure that's going to ask for balance to 10% within 30 days, and then you're going to pay another deposit within 100 days, and there's going to be a structure when you pay out these deposits. So you're going to have the purchase price so itself, which is the price of the actual condo, and that depends on the location, the size, the amenities, things like that. It's a bit of speculative pricing as well. And then your deposit's going to be 10 or 20%, depending on what the builder's looking to do. So if they're trying to incentivize you, they're going to lower it to 10%, but in a traditional world, it's about 20%. So by the end of the time it's done, you get to 20%. So that happens over 12 to 24 months. So then these are all the additional charges. So when you're talking to a buyer client that says, I want to get into pre-construction, and they want to know, all the things about it, these are some of the things you have to remind them. So they've got their initial deposit, the regular deposit structure, then they have development charges. So these are charges imposed by municipalities to cover things like roads, public transportation, parks. So your clients are paying for these things, not the builder's not paying for that out of the gesture of their good heart, like your buyer is actually paying into these things as well. Then you have land transfer tax. So no different than a resale condo, you're going to pay land transfer tax at the time that it closes. So you have to have that fund ready to go. You're going to have legal fees the same way you would in a resale. You're going to pay $1,000 to $2,000, $3,000 to actually close that sale with a lawyer. You're going to have HST and GST. So even though you are most likely going to be eligible for a rebate, some builders will prepay the HST for you and they'll apply for their own rebate. And then when you assign or do something later, that's a whole other sort of conversation. You may actually have to pay that HST and get your own rebate, or they're going to make you pay it upfront on closing and you apply for your own rebate. And the rebate's only up to $24,000. So you may pay the difference yourself. So now you need to have that cash as well. Terry warranty fee. So most properties in Canada, if not all of them, Ontario, are covered by Terrion, but you pay a fee for that as well. So the builder has their own fees that they pay into it. You are covered by certain things for up to 7 years, depending on a schedule of what they are, but you're also paying into that a little bit. So that's not a free service.
How much is now?
I don't know what it's depending on the lot, the size, the location, a whole bunch of things. It's not like one.
I want to say like
fee.
Based on the
$1,400.
purchase price.
Yeah.
$5,000.
Not for the consumer.
Yeah, consumer's a little bit less. Builder will pay a little bit. Yeah. So then you have adjustment costs. These are costs like utility hookup, property taxes, maintenance fees, just regular sort of adjustments. Then you've got parking and storage. So sometimes you've got to pay for that extra on top of that unit. So you may pay 30 grand to 80 grand, depending on where it is, maybe a locker as well. So a lot of people would have bought condos and pre-con and got on a wait list for parking because it wasn't available. So you're on a wait list for locker parking. So if you get selected, yes, on that wait list, now you're paying more for that at closing as well. And by the way, your commission typically is not including the cost of those things also. So keep that in mind too. So then you have amenity fees. So you've got condo fees, amenity fees like fitness centers, pools, party rooms. You could pay them upfront, yearly, or on a monthly basis. These are considered maintenance fees, right, when you close. So now you've got to include that in your monthly budget. You've got occupancy fees. This article is calling them phantom rent. So they're marketing it as like a rental fee until it closes. But like Claire just talked about, it's buffering in not only rent to have that space before it registers, but now you're paying interest, right? And you're paying more interest than what you would normally. You've got your house insurance, your mortgage loan insurance, if you're putting less than 20% down. Well, these are quite significant costs. So if your buyer is not ready, you've got cash ready to go to pay these things, that's a problem, right? So you've got to really prep them to have all these things ready. And if you had bought this condo to plan on assigning it you've got to bank on a really good market at that time too. Otherwise, you are paying these fees and you're closing on this to make it happen. We know a lot of people in that situation as well. But then it talks about ways to finance your pre-construction condo. So these are how people are buying pre-con. So it could come from savings. So you could have 15 to 20% down in your savings that you're ready to give down those deposits. You could get a mortgage, but you're not going to get that mortgage until it registers. So you're going to have to pay occupancy fees until it registers, and you've got your mortgage that will come into play. Some people are using a home equity line of credit. So this is something that's tied to an existing mortgage or home that you have already. Some people are using RSPs and home buying plans. So they're withdrawing from their RSPs and paying it back over later time as well. So that could be an idea. And then some people are getting really creative and they're doing co-ownership. So you're buying it with a friend, a family member, coworker, things like that. And you guys are pulling together to help you finance this. And then they talk about renting out your current homes. This is to try to build up some equity and some income from the home you already have. So there's a bigger trend happening right now, which is called crowdfunding. So it's where you typically post something on the internet saying, I'm looking to build some funding for this property. And you guys all pull in together and you've got to have sort of a business plan and things like that. But you could gather together with people that you don't even know to do some crowdfunding.
Living there.
Yeah, this is for renting out the house, right? And then there's real estate investment groups, so REIGs. So this is where you make small investments. Somebody's leading this kind of, it's similar to crowdfunding, but it's a group of people that are investing together that may not know each other as well. Seller financing, so maybe you're financing it yourself. Does your vendor take back mortgages? We're seeing more of that happen now too. Are you seeing more of that happen? And
Haven't seen it.
not yet. So I've seen some people sort of advertise that they're willing to do it, but I haven't seen it happen.
Just want to talk about that group, investment group.
Yeah.
So I have an agent, a couple agents, one agent in particular I'm thinking of right now who got together with, I don't know, 10 or 15 of his friends. They all threw in $50,000 each and they bought some raw land out in Niagara Falls.
And then what?
Build.
They're gonna hang on. It's like land banking. They're gonna hang on to it for 10, 15 years and then see what happens. But you know, you can't get a mortgage on raw land, right? So they would have just paid all cash and they're gonna sit on it. So you're looking for, you know, if you got a big database or people that want to invest, just think outside a little bit. Maybe you know, put this group together.
There's a new regulation, I think, within Chicago, occupancy fee. I have a client who wanted to pay the whole fee cash. Used to be they'll take cash.
Yeah.
Not anymore. He's paying like $7,000 occupancy fee at 8%.
Yep.
And he said, Shiv, I have the cash. I said, the new law. I said, no, I want to screw you that you can take the cash.
Is that the builder's law or is that the sounds like a builder law because they.
And my landscaper, they said it tells me that paying $9,000. Yeah, they gotta pay for 6 months. And it's at 8%.
Because the act says if they change that, what I just read, the act says the remaining balance you have to pay interest on the remaining balance. Meaning if you put 20% down.
What they used to do. Now they won't even take it back.
I think so I don't know if it's a builder's law.
A particular builder.
Right? They're making too much money.
Pretty much just talk to you about it.
Yeah, that's true. Just some more stats and then not very much more before we have some rules, but you know, we talked about prices increasing, but there's actually some areas across the GTA where have increased 25%. So this is where we talk about HPI a lot and to sort of drill into your individual community, whether you're selling or you're helping a buyer, because your clients are going to be listening to the media and they're going to be listening to like the overall general GTA stats, but there's a whole bunch of communities across GTA and Durham that are up or down even less than what the general market is. So Brampton, for example, is up 4.5% versus Caledon, so that's like outside Brampton, is up 23%. So I don't know, does that tell us that people are sort of moving out of the sort of urban kind of cores and there's sort of demand for those rural type properties?
Maybe they were more affordable and then
Maybe
people went there.
maybe 2 houses sold at 4 million.
Yeah,
It could be
true.
that
So last
too,
year sold
yeah.
at 2 million.
It could be because Caledon's got some big luxury properties.
It's a very demanding area.
Yeah, Mississauga's up 7%.
Twice.
So even Toronto West, so that would be like High Park, sort of West End Toronto, they're up 17%. So there's a lot of luxury homes in that area as well. Toronto Centre up 23%. So I'm kind of surprised by this one as well, because I'm assuming this means, yeah, it's all dwellings. This is condos and freeholds. So this may be just sort of, Toronto Central is not that big, to be honest. So these are probably a small pool. Versus the East End's also up 17%.
How about East?
Toronto East 17%, and then Durham, Ajax is up 9.6, versus Brock is up 19%, versus Clarington is only 3%, Oshawa is only 2.5%, Pickering 4.8%, Scugog 4.2%, and then Uxbridge goes up 13%, and Whitby only 3%.
Since
Prices.
January.
These are all prices, yeah.
Prices for all dwelling types, so all types. Since
January to-
January to April.
How about Markham?
Markham 7%, but King is 20%, right? Aurora 11%, Stouffville 16%. So they're all over. So you really got to drill into, and let us know if you don't know what HPI is, we'll show you. But when you're talking to a seller or talking to a buyer, don't just use your general market watch stats. Really drill down into actual stats, because we can show you month to month, we can show you 6 months, we can show you a year. Exactly. You can go by like the type of house, and you can really drill down more.
You can even do it
particularly.
as far as neighborhood of like Pickering, for
Yeah.
example, like Liverpool area.
Yeah. And
What's
we used to have to
different?
calculate it manually with ratios, but now there's an actual like calculator. So it's very easy to put in your area and your type and your original price and come up with an HPI for that particular community. I don't have any
Do you
more stats.
access to this calculator?
Yep.
Yeah, it's through
Stratus.
Stratus under Market Watch and then Home Price Index. And then it's like the second tab on the right, it says like,
It's called like the interactive
Yeah.
dashboard.
Yeah.
And then they've got different types that you can just plug in.
we're almost ending 1:45.
Okay, so Tales from the Street. We had a lead and got us a
active
lease. And the tenant was, I guess, suspect, so the landlord wanted 6 months pre-rent, $15,000 pre-rent, right? So they did the deal, and we sent the information to the buyer's agent for deposit, to do a direct deposit. And then the buyer's agent got an email from my agent saying that we had a problem with our accounting program here. It's been frozen. Can you get a hold of us if we want to resend it to this account instead?
They wanted an e-transfer.
They wanted an e-transfer instead. And the email had our agent's name on it, first name, last name, and had his title and looked just like what he was
Had it like a
doing there, and
signature at the bottom.
had his signature, or whatever, looked like he from our client, except that the email address was missing an E. So the wrong email address was on this thing, because so somebody had, I don't know how they did it, but they figured out that they pretended they were our agent. They created a Gmail email address by having exact same name except for one E, and it was a Schlanken name, so it's quite long, right? So there's one E missing.
Yes.
I could have said Greek just as easy. And then so luckily the agent phoned us up and says, so is this, did you guys change your emails? And
He was
I said,
smart.
so what are you talking about? We never changed anything. So had the buying agent not been on the ball, he may have sent that deposit to this fake email address.
It was a big $15,000 too. It wasn't just like a first and last month. No, he caught it. So
The
the
buying agent caught
he
it.
caught it.
Was the listing agent fake that gave you wrong email address?
You think it's the tenant?
We
I think
actually don't.
The only one that would know that the deal was done, because we haven't got the deposit yet.
It's
The
not
only
on
person
MLS,
that
no
know,
deposit yet.
yeah, it wasn't on MLS yet. We haven't got the deposit yet.
Deal admins don't even know yet.
The only people that knew that this ever happened was the person that typed the offer and the tenant,
Or the person at the bank
or the person at the
when they
bank.
go request a deposit, because you're gonna give them information. There's only so many avenues that could have triggered. So we sent it, well, that's what we're saying. So somebody faked the listing agent,
get
then
it,
redirect it to here so that they could get the deposit. But thankfully the tenant agent caught it and sent it to us right away, who sent it to us, and we verified that yes. And we've actually flagged it to TREB, which they can't do anything about. It's not a TREB issue. They've asked me to go to the police, which is not like, but we're just telling you guys to be aware of your emails and pay attention. If it looks kind of shady, it might be, because there's a lot of spam stuff happening. Real estate and outside of real estate, like spammers are out and they're getting super creative right now. So pay attention to your emails. If it feels like in your gut, it looks weird, just question it, right? So there's some weird stuff happening. So we caught it. So
And there's a real problem going on with your tenant application. So that's why you're suggesting strongly that you use that single key. Single key now last week caught 2 fraudsters already. So if you think you want to save $30, or your client wants to save $30 by not using this single key, it's pretty rampant out there, and it's pretty bad.
Yep.
Okay, actually, I did a video with them last week. So if you're new to Canada, they actually co-sign the tenants. So they don't need to
Single
pay
key.
1 year upfront, so single key will co-sign.
Oh, wow.
They have access to international credit bureau.
We heard
So
that
they can
too,
get a
yeah.
new
Yes,
credit
hi,
bureau.
is this Sandra?
So I would
Hi,
really,
Sandra, it's Mara Nerbakshwit,
Actually,
Century
was
21
possible.
Percy
They
Fulton.
have to
How
pay
are
1
you?
month, right, single keys.
Very
single
good.
key will
Listen,
be the
It's like a
guarantee.
separate-
guarantor.
Guarantor.
my
Holy
client just
smokes, so
texted
don't-
me
so-
regarding the listing. You have 24 claims. So question, this is a builder, correct?
But they could close tomorrow, what is gonna happen?
So let's say someone new to Canada, they don't need to pay the 1 month, 1 year
Mhm.
upfront.
And
so-
who's the builder? It's a,
It's a separate business model.
Yeah,
What's the
are-
benefit
are
for
they
them?
key.
custom,
1 month rent.
They get
custom
1 month rent
builders
out.
or they are
Single
just
key in
regular
themselves.
builders?
They are all the guarantor now.
So,
What are they charging?
I
so
think it's
1 month rent.
1 month rent to the tenant.
That's
That's
what,
okay.
yeah.
So if anybody's in the investment world, under single key, the TSX is just don't do that.
What's that?
Don't invest in single key.
No. They're taking away part of your,
Okay, just a technical thing, LTB, just so you know, when somebody guarantees a rent, not on title, if somebody is a co-signer or guarantees the rent, that guarantee is only good for 12 months. After 12 months, the guarantee disappears. That's why you're far better off to have them on title as a tenant rather than a guarantor.
Yeah, we always have them tenant.
So if somebody comes to you and says like, I'll be the guarantor, well, okay, fine, put your name as a tenant. Don't
Yeah.
put it as a guarantor.
but as a landlord, do you really want to have an extra tenant? Someone that's gonna abide by the LTV rules?
They
They're
don't,
not living there.
it's just an extra person to go after.
Yep. Yeah, but now it's an extra person that also have rights under the LTV too.
As long as they pay the rent, you don't care.
Yeah. Just something kind of funny that, people have been arguing about your benefits program. There's a whole group of realtors that like are going after Aurea and you've seen the Facebook groups and they've invested a lot of money and time. Well, now they are also being sued by TREB for $1 million.
Treb's suing the
Yeah,
realtors.
because these guys have gone after TREB. This is not a TREB program. This is an Aurea program where TREB happens to have a big vote in that. But these guys were, mentioning TREB and all the TREB stuff, but it's not a TREB thing, it's an Aurea thing. So now TREB is going after them for defamation and wrong use of information and stuff like that. So, spend your time wisely. Remember,
The agents doing the job.
Treb's suing the.
they were, so the agents had a lawsuit against Aurea and TREB, and now TREB is going after them. And so for $650,
Just to be clear, these are not TREB members.
these are non-TREB members as
These
well.
guys are member from the Ottawa Real Estate Board.
Oh,
And what they were doing is they're giving TREB a hard time. So these are Ottawa realtors, not TREB realtors. So TREB is suing these two realtors for defamation.
Just seems like a whole waste of time.
Because
for-
they,
it's 50.
no, they're making personal tax on the president,
That's right.
personal tax on the staff, personal tax, and TREB had nothing to do with it. It's all surreal.
It's already done. We already paid for the benefits. We have them.
Go get those massages.
Any tales from the streets or listings coming up that anyone wants to talk about? Any event, you talked about all your events too? We can do a save the date for August 14th. If you want to be really ahead in your schedule, that will be our family day. And we're going to change it up this year. So don't book your vacation for April 14th if you want to be involved in our family day.
April 14th.
August 14th, sorry. August 14th. Yeah. Okay. Have a good week, everybody. This will be on Facebook and on YouTube eventually as well.
And see you guys Wednesday for calling.